In the last video, we covered control blocks. This included repeating code over and over again using repeat blocks as a loop, or a forever block in order to make sure this code happens on an infinite basis. In our example, we have an apple here with a forever block that always moves the apple down because it is inside of that forever block. We also have a conditional if statement that checks on the position of the apple, and if it is less than -180, which is the bottom of our game, then it will move back to the top. We did utilize these green operators, so we can check using a less than, and we use the pick random operator to provide a random number between two numbers. In this video, we're going to expand on this a little bit, but we're going to start using sensing blocks. A sensing block is a way for the program to know if a particular object has touched another object, or if it has had a certain color touch another color, etc. You can see we can check if we're touching the mouse pointer, touching colors. We can check the distance between objects, and if a key is pressed. We can check if the mouse is down or the position of the mouse. We can check if an object is draggable, how loud it is, if its timer is there, etc., etc. In this case, we want to check to see if the apple touches the bowl. If the apple touches the bowl, we want it to go back to the top instead of just sliding straight through the bowl as seen here. To do that, we're going to use a control block if, and we're going to use a sensing block called touching. This touching block has a drop-down menu, and you can either check if you're touching the mouse pointer, the edge of our screen, or another sprite. In this case, the bowl is the only sprite available, so it is the only one listed here, but if you had more sprites in your game, you'd be able to check to see if this apple or whatever sprite you are using is touching another sprite. If the apple does touch the bowl, we would like it to go back to the top. Let's run this and check it again. And now when the apple touches the bowl, it doesn't go through. Instead, it instantly goes back to the top. These sensing blocks can be also useful for speeding up other activities. In our bowl, we have when the right arrow key press change X by 10. And it moves, and you can see that the code block is being highlighted, but it turns off and then on. And the bowl kind of laggy as it moves across. There's a better way of doing this. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these. And now we're just going to focus on when the green flag is clicked. In this case, I'm going to take a forever block, and then a conditional if block, and I want to sense if a key is being pressed. There's a key pressed block I can place in here, and go ahead and make this to the right arrow, and then add the motion X block here, change X by 10. When I start my green flag, you'll notice that this block is always highlighted, which means it's always running, and that's due to this forever loop. And since it's always running, I'm always checking if that right arrow is pressed. Now when I press the right arrow, it's smooth and moves back. If I were to duplicate this and add in the left arrow, making sure this is -10, stop the game, press play, it's highlighted, and now my bowl moves quickly left or right. And it's very smooth. Those are basic examples of how to use these sensor blocks. Go ahead and add that to your game, and then we'll move on to variables.